Greetings. I hope you all are well. Good day, good day. I hope you all are well. If you're joining me again, it's always a pleasure to be here with you and to share. My name is Odessa, Doctor of Natural Medicine, Womb Wellness Coach, Soul Therapist, and I'm here to talk to you all the things that I'm passionate about: health, wealth, knowledge of self, mind, body, soul, womb, wellness. And today, specifically in today's episode, I wanted to talk about why we shouldn't be continuously weighing whether we should begin something or not. Let me just organize myself here a little bit. Yeah. So, sorry guys. I have this touch screen, and it's responding. It's very responsive, so please excuse me. Right. So basically, for those of you who know what I do and don't know what I do, I generally work with women to help them to heal, evolve, and expand their understanding of their own bodies, their own wombs, their own health and wellness, and just kind of build and develop tools for themselves to be able to cultivate their own wellness journey, right? So women who have issues with fertility, women who have reproductive chronic conditions that they've been battling for usually upwards of 2 years. I work with practitioners who want to learn how to work with women who have menstrual issues, help women to develop their sense of self, autonomy, body confidence, understand how to navigate the system. So I do a lot of different things: movement therapies, sound therapies, and what I'm seeing now these days with people who are coming to me is that everyone is in a mind frame of two camps, right? But I also want to just kind of take it one step further to say that I feel as though a lot of the clients who I'm working with tend to have some kind of a service job where they're working directly with people or contributing back, something of that nature. Usually, they also have a creative side to them. So whether they are actively contributing to society as an artist, or it's something that they've been kind of, playing with or fiddling with on the side, there's usually some kind of creative component. There's usually a health component as well, and then a deeper calling. And the deeper calling is usually about needing to take it a step further in your personal work, in your personal health and wellness, or maybe you need to transition out of what you're doing. I've been doing a lot of that, seeing a lot of that, but just answering that deeper calling. And that's the piece that I want to talk about when it comes to weighing, the pros and cons as to whether you should begin, when can you begin, why should you begin, how are you going to begin, and where are you going to go with everything that you're doing. And so these people who I tend to come into contact with, they tend to be of two minds. It's still the same mind, but of two minds, because there's a level of consciousness that's beginning to raise within the self, right? Where you're beginning to recognize, okay, the space that I'm in, the things that I'm doing, the people that I'm engaging with, the way that I've been thinking, the direction that I've been going is not necessarily in alignment with where I see myself, with what I want to have happen in my future, right? With the direction that I want my trajectory to go. And then there's another level of seeing that shift in consciousness within yourself and wanting to support the people around you in a different way, or wanting to contribute to the environment around you in a different way. This is how I am interpreting what's coming to me within the last few wave of clients, and just prospects who I'm having conversation with. If this is not you, then that's okay, but this seems to be the nature of the people who I've been coming into contact with. And so the thing about this is oftentimes part of the issue is that you're ignoring the signs and the symptoms and, you know, the callings and the beckonings that spirit, the most high, God, the universe, whomever and whatever it is that you recognize or connect with, or just source energy or whatever it is, oftentimes you're ignoring it. You're pushing it to the side, you know. You have the niggling feeling that you need to get in contact with your primary caregiver. You feel as though you need to, you know, start making more communication with these types of people, or start going in different areas or trying new things, and you're not doing it. You are allowing your preferences to take precedence. You're allowing your habits, you know what I mean, to run your quiet dream building amok, and you don't even know this, right? We don't even recognize it. And this is what I want to bring up, because by ignoring these niggling feelings, by ignoring, you know, the persistent calling, or that gnawing, or that deep desire, or, you know, not following the changes and the shifts in the environment, I'll use that word again, around you, what happens is you end up missing out on possibilities, right? You end up missing out on moments of self-preservation, right? Because oftentimes we are in situations and circumstances that we are put in based off of our how we've been socialized and conditioned to live and to be, right? Well, you know, I'm sick like this, or these kinds of things are happening to me because people in my family have the same kind of illnesses or the same kind of genetic structure, or, you know, physiology. And it's like, well, that's not necessarily the case, right? Not necessarily the case at all. Like, if you are in an environment that is going to trigger particular outcomes, then you are going to be like, your outcome is going to be factored into that. Okay. And so if you are getting the inspiration to, hey, you know, I think I need to, you know, reduce the amount of red meat that I've been eating. It's not doing very good to me. I realize that I need to move my bowels more, but it makes me so uncomfortable when I'm out on the road. So I'm not going to do it. I'm going to stick to what I've always been doing. Then you're not honoring what it is that your body is requiring, that your well-being is requiring, because the subconscious is always speaking to us. Our insides, our innards, the inner person, the inner space, that inner sanctuary is always communicating with us. It just depends on the level of receptivity that you have and obedience that you have. And what I'm talking about is that level of disobedience that many people have when it comes to following the inclinations that we're given. And when you're not able to listen to that, then you put yourself in positions where you've overgiven again. Oh, every time I put myself in this situation, I feel a particular way. I don't like that this is a cycle that I'm always in, you know, it's always happening this particular way. Well, you have new thoughts that are coming into, you know, your periphery, and you're not really giving them the time of day because they're uncomfortable for you. They make you feel outside of the box. And so you're just going to stick with what feels comfortable. But by sticking with what feels comfortable, that level of self-preservation is unable to be engaged because you are not in that space in your regular everyday, right? So you're missing out. So by not paying attention to the deeper callings, by not responding, there's that level of self-preservation that you're not able to develop, right? And therefore that burnout on whatever level that you're on, right? That level of disconnect that you've been perpetuating gets to be continued, right? Gets to be maintained. And so by missing out, you also don't have a chance to develop healthier boundaries with the environment around you, and with how you receive information, with how you process information, how much you can recognize and center yourself as the cause right? And when you can center yourself as the cause, then you are truly the one who is influencing the effect, right? And this is really important when we're talking about evolutionary wellness, when we're talking about evolutionary healing. We talk about wanting to heal naturally, holistically, and change the way we're thinking and raise our level of vibration, and just be a lot more conscious and aware of how we're contributing to our environment and what we're doing to ourselves, to our bodies. Maybe you have chronic pain, you've been dealing with severe menstrual cycles, maybe you have multiple miscarriages, whatever it is that you're doing, oftentimes, right, there's still that deep calling, there's a gnawing because of the level of trauma, the level of chronic static stuckness that you're experiencing. And so if you are not giving yourself the opportunity to follow and listen to the calling that you have to do something bigger, better, and greater for yourself, what happens is you're not able to establish healthier boundaries. So you're not able to now center yourself, right? You haven't learned how to preserve yourself really and truly in alignment with what it is that you want, with that future that that you can work yourself towards and achieve. You're not able to establish the boundaries that are needed for you to be able to execute and achieve the level of excellence that you can achieve within the scope of wholeness medicine, right? And then there's a level of externalization. By not paying attention to the deeper calling that you're having, that you feel that inclination to not do, to not go, to change, to go, to be something different, to, source out something different. By not paying attention to that, then what happens is you begin to externalize your validation. You're looking for other people to make sure that, what you're experiencing is what you're experiencing. You're trusting, that the final results from your test are what they are. What you're feeling is all in your head. That's it. You're not trusting that there's something more for you outside of what you've always done. Your 9 to 5 may not necessarily be the end all be all, although it is a means. The end is still a little bit away. And so, you're not trusting that. And so you're expecting, someone outside to say it's okay for you to lean into your passion and your goals, right? And so what happens when this level of deeper calling is not acknowledged on this wholeness journey? And once again, like I said, if you're on a wholeness journey, you need to understand that it's not about just dealing with the physical body with, natural foods. It's about making the changes on your emotional level, on your mental level, on your spiritual levels, right? We want a complete and evolutionary transformation so that it sticks. And so when you're not following the inclinations, when you're not listening to your inspiration, when you're not listening to your intuition, what happens is you lose years. You lose years, and you may even lose decades. And this is true because you won't change. When you give in to small, subtle changes, eventually they snowball. And when you trust and step into alignment with what you should be doing and where you should be going, and you're following, right, where it is that, your heart is bringing you, spirit is bringing you, your body is telling you it wants to be, right? Things begin to open up for you easily. They just begin to align themselves easily. But when you're not listening to it and you're sitting in something that you're not supposed to be in, when you're in a space that's too small for you, you can't receive more. When you're around people who don't appreciate you, you can't understand the gift that you have until you remove yourself from them, and that space can be filled in again with new people because of your new environment, because you listened to the calling to reach out, to make the phone call, to make the change and not eat that particular kind of food that day, right? Or to start the project or to do something differently. This is really, really important, right? This is really, really important because we're at a point in our, I guess I can say evolution in general, but in our process as people, as humanity, where it really matters. Everything that we're doing right now, it matters. Everything that you hold inside of you, that you hold to be true, your beliefs and your values and what you identify with as an individual, it matters. It matters because it shows up in your physical body as illness. It matters because it externalizes itself as experiences. It really does matter, right? I want to talk for a minute about a client of mine. Her name is, we'll call her Anne for today. And Anne's story is interesting because she came to me through the perspective of having some issues with reproductive health and also had some issues with her colon. And so we were just going through the process of understanding, okay, well, looking at what her health history is, her map, understanding her multidimensional awareness and assessment protocol. What has brought you to here physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, right? What are all of the pieces that have put you in the position that you're in right now, so we can understand how to best move forward? Because it's easy to say, eat this, and then, do that. But it's a little bit more effective, actually way more effective, when you're able to really understand on a multi-layered perspective where you're coming from, because these other layers of your person, of your being, are also what contribute to the effect that you're experiencing in your life, the expression of your life. Everything that you're experiencing in your life right now is an expression of all those layers of who you are, right? When you close your eyes, right? The fighting that you have with yourself, the agreements that you have with yourself, the non-agreements that you have with yourself, the memories that you are repeating over and over again. These are the people that are actually running the program. Why you can't go to the gym and maintain, why when you start to eat the food, why your menstrual cycle is hurting, why your relationships are looking the way they're looking, why, you know what I mean? Like, this is really, really crucial. And we're at a point in time in history that we understand how it's affecting us. So this client, Anne, came to me with reproductive issues and an issue with her colon, with elimination. So we began to have that conversation, about what it is that she wants and where it is that she wants to go, and start looking at how to affect everything, right? So first we got to look at the health. We have to deal with your physical body, your being. And we looked at her cleanliness in terms of, like, has she done a detox before? We went through detoxing. We went through cleaner eating habits, because the mind is very much affected by the gut, by the stomach, by the foods that you eat, and by the quality of the tissues, by the quality of your digestive tract. It's all interconnected. So we started off with working on that. And then we started getting into her physical body in terms of how it's functioning. How are you relating to your body as a woman? If you don't relate as a woman, as a womb carrier, as someone who has breasts, right? Do you push and force yourself through because you have to do that last task and that last chore before the next, hour comes? You know what I mean? Like, do you recognize that before and during your menstrual cycle, like, those are your most vulnerable times that you need to rest? Like, do you understand what is the best rhythm for you, and do you acknowledge that? Right. And so this is what we worked on with my client, because there was this push and pull that she was experiencing of, like, I have all these things that I want to do, and I have a new baby, and I have all these other issues that I haven't dealt with, and I just want to focus on getting, these particular things done. But it's like, if you really want to have lasting change, I think it's more important for us to recognize that it's that moment of slow down, when we draw the arrow back as we're aiming to let go of our arrow. That drawback moment, that's rest. And that rest is also a moment of recalibration, right? And so understanding your gut health, cleaning out your stomach, understanding how you relate with your physical body so that you can recognize your cycles of high energy, low energy, and stable neutralized energy. Then we went into understanding how to, relate and clean up yourself emotionally. What is happening in your emotional life and how is it showing up physically? How is it showing up in your relationships? Like just understanding how we get into contracts with one another, with people, with circumstances, right? And how the memories that we have and the emotions that are related to these memories are dictating our future, right? And so these are the processes that we went through, that I walked through with my client Anne. And so we also in the process began to address her fears within stepping out and doing the work that she herself had come here to do, because it's not considered normal to be able to do this particular work, or maybe you don't have someone who trusts in who can reaffirm and reassure the experience that you're having, and agrees with what it is that you're doing, right? And so, what she recognized within the process, within the protocols, within the variations, within the work that we did, was that she was definitely waiting on other people to give her certain levels of validation. She recognized that she was not settling into a regular schedule. And so, whereas she knew what to do and had an idea of what to do and had heard of the tools and was applying, the tools here and there, she wasn't using them in the right way. And she wasn't consistent with the way that she was applying the techniques. And so the results that you get with inconsistent application mean what? Inconsistent results. And so recognizing that she wasn't doing the work properly, she didn't have a regular schedule, right? And these were some of the key crucial points for her in her particular experience that began to shift and change, because by the end of our time together, this particular client, she took the 6-month program and then extended it for 1 year. She really began to notice her health began to stabilize. Like it was a little bit intricate, right? And I think it's important for us all to understand, whereas oftentimes we can reduce and eliminate many of the symptoms and chronic illnesses that a person is experiencing. Sometimes the karmic experience that a person is supposed to journey through requires the presence of the illness there to bring a different layer of awareness and attention to personal growth. Right? That's a big piece of the puzzle here. And I want to say that again. Sometimes the karmic journey of an individual requires that they experience the quality that the illness is here to bring, because it's to help them to develop their soul in a different way. Sometimes we're not supposed to eliminate illness in this particular existence. Okay, I didn't write the rules. I'm just here to reinforce them and to help us to understand how to bend them, because that's what we can do, right? And in that process, we can create healthier environments. In the process, we can raise the quality of your experience. And so within the scope of this particular client, her health has gotten better, and she's been able to integrate a lot more of the natural and holistic medicine. But the scope and the breadth and the depth of her illness still needs the support of medication, right? And so this is where we have been. And it's like, if you are taking medication and you want to get off your medication, you have to know that you have a plan in place. Okay. Like I'm all for do as much as you can natural and holistically. I'm all for that. But if you don't have a plan in place that you are seeing results from and you are able to maintain, you have to be very, very careful with how you're going to use the words. I'm using holistic and natural medicine, but you're not getting results and you're deteriorating in your health. You have to be very, very careful with that. Okay. And so that was one thing I was explaining to her. If you feel as though your quality of health is fluctuating too much, make sure that you feel comfortable and confident each time you are reducing. right? And having conversations with your primary caregiver as appropriate, right? Because we're not doing this on our own. We're doing this working with your primary caregivers. Okay, so these are some of the results that she's having. So now she's feeling more confident. Her food is cleaner. She understands what her body needs. So when she's doing all of the things that her body enjoys, the moment she does something that is outside of what her body appreciates now in its new cellular rejuvenated state, she feels sick, or she can feel the changes in her body, right? Like I'm saying, sometimes certain conditions need more time for tissue repair, right? And so you may work with me for X amount of time and we'll see wonderful, amazing, quantum leaps in your health and wellness. But oftentimes clients need to maintain and continue the work after, especially if you're dealing with a chronic issue, because you have to regenerate the integrity of the tissue. Okay. Now, this particular client, Anne, whereas she's now able to recognize, where she is physically, she's feeling better. She's feeling more confident, still working that out. She has also opened up and started receiving clients. She's also, decided that this is a new level of work that she's going to commit herself to. She's decided that this personality, this new aspect of her ego, this new development aspect of soul that's coming out, she's going to explore this more. And it requires that she sees clients, that she sees people, and that she trusts her gifts. And as she's been doing that, the affirmations for her have been rolling in. The aligned experiences, the people, what I mean? The ideas are brewing. Like she's feeling very, as she had mentioned, she's feeling very inspired now to do her work. The last conversations that she had, she was telling me, she had finished one portion of the program and now we're moving on to the other. And she was saying, I just feel so much softer within myself, the way that I regard my schedules, the way that I'm applying my work, the way that I'm actually, taking medicine and listening to my body. I don't feel as though I'm forcing. I don't feel as though I'm, giving more than I need to in the moment, which is also informing her mothering with her young child, which is also informing how she's actually communicating in her extrapersonal and interpersonal relationships, right? And so this for me, is a great confirmation of this work, right? She's feeling happier. She has more, more energy to do the work that she's doing. She's feeling more accountable to herself, and she's actively more accountable to herself physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And she's starting to see the changes in a way that, really reinforce the results that she's experiencing, because you can have, like I was saying earlier on, you can be doing the work, you can know some of the tools here and there, but you may not understand the full technique. And if you're not putting it all together, or you're not doing it long enough, or you're not doing it properly, then the results that you're getting can discourage you. And in the scope of the work that we've been doing, because she was feeling encouraged, this really has helped her to, open up and give that knowledge to other people. So by applying smaller, what do I call them again? Milestone goals, right? And by, looking at what consistency looks like over smaller periods of time, and really focusing on that love, joy, peace, and happiness, we are able to gain the kind of traction that we're looking for. And so instead of waiting, and putting things off, because this is something that she had been talking about and thinking about for a long time, and she herself was like, I wish I had known this before. I wish I had trusted. I wish I had followed, the desires that I had, or the thoughts that I had before. I would have saved myself time. I would have been able to help more people, right? And so this is why I wanted to come on and talk with you all about the idea of stop weighing the pros and cons, especially when you feel and you can, perceive the vibration and the resonance, because we can. I'm talking like this now because I know that you understand, right? And so that's what I want to leave you with. So if you have received anything from this and you feel as though you have any really good takeaways, I want you to hashtag replay in the comments below and let me know what your top takeaways are, because as usual. I enjoy having these conversations with you. I enjoy, reflecting on, what you are, picking up what I'm putting down, right? And so if you are interested in learning more about what I'm doing and you'd love to have a conversation with me, I'd like to invite you to click on the link in my bio and book a suitability call. Let's have a conversation to find out, where you're at. You can start off by taking the well-being and womb health assessment. And once your scores are in, we'll have a conversation about what these scores mean. Where are you on your journey? What are your needs moving forward? And what would be the best next step for you? If that sounds like something you would be interested in participating in, then feel free to click on the link in the bio. And if not, please come back again soon. I'm going to be going live to continue this conversation around the needs for each individual to follow their deeper calling and really start connecting to what it is that the body needs on all levels, so that we can really rush in that new era of energetic consciousness, awareness, and beingness. So with that being said, I want to wish you a wonderful morning, afternoon, and evening, wherever you are. And I will be in contact with you again soon. I look forward to seeing you. Take care. Be well.